What is up guys, Munash here, and today we have Warlock against Abyss of Legends Havoc. So I fought the first Havoc 2 days ago and I was supposed to upload that fight yesterday, but I just had a long day and I was pretty tired after work. So then I carried on playing more Abyss and I eventually got to the second Havoc. So I decided I'm going to upload that one instead because it was a little bit more interesting, or a bit of a better showcase in my opinion. So for the first Havoc, I actually turned on suicides before that fight because there were a few more fights afterwards that were suicide friendly, and that did help increase the damage. I took about 80% in one go, and yeah, so then the second fight was pretty easy and I could have done a little bit more, but he just ended up evading me and then I got comboed and KO'd. Although I wasn't gonna solo because I'd almost reached the hit cap, so it really didn't make much of a difference. I still ended up using one revive for that fight. Okay, and then after that fight I figured that I could probably still get this fight down with one revive without suicides. For this fight the strategy is just to parry heavy and only use your special 3. So you notice sometimes I do actually intercept his heavy attack with my own because Havoc's medium attacks don't make contact, so you can't actually parry stun him when he throws a medium attack. So sometimes I'll just bait a heavy attack and then go in with my own heavy attack. And even though you are going to be blocking a lot, the chip damage is actually mitigated quite a lot by Warlock's regeneration from his special 3. So yeah, Warlock regens 5% per infection, so usually I'll get 5 to 10% regen whenever I use special 3. But really the strategy is just to parry heavy, but sometimes I do have to throw a medium attack just to reset the timer when you don't land an attack for 8 seconds. Otherwise you lose too many warfare charges and skirmish charges, and that just lowers how many hits you can do in the fight. And so the reason why I'm only doing heavy attacks and special 3 is because really I'm trying to maximize the amount of damage I can do per hit. And that's why it's actually better not to use special 2 for this fight. And the nice thing about Warlock's heavy attack is it does one hit and it applies a decent bleed. So you see right now the bleed is ticking at about 339, and I believe it does 15 ticks with max deep wounds. And also if the heavy crits itself, it will do 6000 damage. And I also use the special 3 because all special 3s are one hit and it does about 9000 damage as well. And the other thing is it's really nice for sustaining yourself with Warlock because he does regenerate with special 3. So usually after a special 3 I'll get 4 or 9% health back. So yeah, Warlock is probably the best counter for Abyss Havoc, you know, just because he counters pretty much all of Havoc's abilities. He's got good damage over time, so he doesn't rely on crits because Havoc does lower your crit damage in half. And also within Abyss, the mutant's power gain rate increases by 1% every time you crit, which might not sound like much, but you know, after a couple of hits, you know, that's gonna really add up. But Warlock actually has pretty good power drain because you notice whenever I parry his medium attacks, I drain a little bit of his power, and also the special 3 drains all his power as well. And I could have used Aegon for this fight, but Warlock is just so much better. I imagine Guillotine 2099 and Colossus, you know, your typical big damage Havoc counters, could also manage this fight fairly well, although not as good as Warlock. And even Aegon can take down this Warlock in, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 revives. As long as he's ramped up, because then he'll be able to lower the ability accuracy. And also, even when he shrugs off the plasmas and he takes damage from that, it doesn't do a lot of damage, so it's not too bad. But I bought Warlock because I knew that he would save me a couple of revives, because he can do this fight quite easily in one revive. But yeah, I got this tip from Karate Mike, who actually did manage to solo this Havoc a couple of months ago. It's a pretty good fight. Yeah, I think his Warlock is max sig, and he was running a small booster as well. So yeah, you kind of do need to be running suicides and have a stacked Warlock if you want to solo this fight. But yeah, he also does a pretty good job of explaining how to solo this fight with Warlock. So yeah, Warlock does do really well for this fight, although I have to admit it is kind of boring, just parry heavy, and then you throw a special 3 and repeat that cycle. But I am still glad I brought him. So yeah, that's what I did. So then basically I had a decent start for the first fight, but then eventually I think I just made a slight mistake and took a combo, took a couple of hits. Then I was playing on very low health. You know, my health was pretty critical. I was relying a lot on the special 3 for the regeneration. So I actually did a lot of this fight while I was below 15% health. And then there I was playing a bit more cautiously, which means I wasn't able to parry heavy all the time because I was taking a little bit too much damage, and then eventually I got to 1% health, so I couldn't really parry that much. I basically got him down to 59%. Then the second fight went a lot better because I didn't get hit, and I managed to take down the last 59% in one go. This time I had plenty of charges left, you know, I decided to just throw some special 2s. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you found it interesting. Thank you for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.